What is going on, everyone? Astrologer Eric Rosen here, and welcome to your August horoscope for 2025. August already, how did that happen? I mean, I knew 2025 was going to be a mind-blowing year with all the outer planets changing signs, at least for a little bit, and then of course going into next year. Any astrologer worth their salt knows that, but I didn't expect it to go by so quickly. So we're going to talk first collective horoscope, what's going on for the month of August for all of us to pay attention to. And don't be a nerd and just go straight to your sun rising sign. Look at the collective part too, because there's going to be a lot of juice in that. And let's just get the elephant out of the room right away. I know August 8th is this date that people say it's this numerology date. I can't even say it, it's so dumb. The Lion's Gate, you know? And like, if you celebrate it, cool, enjoy it, whatever. But I will actually post a link of something that I wrote on why, from professional astrologer's point of view, while I don't really feel that there's any historical accuracy to really giving any credibility to Lionsgate being a special day. And I think the thing that kind of grinds my gears, Family Guy Peter Griffin style, a little bit more than anything, as I'll mention in that post that I'll share somewhere around this video, is that I see a lot of people celebrating the Lionsgate and then like not talking about the solstices or talking about the equinoxes, you know, things that we actually like revered and worshiped from a traditional, cultural, ancient civilization standpoint. The whole Lionsgate thing's more of a made up modern, I'm just gonna say it, kind of spiritual hippie thing and kind of a marketing thing for spiritual leaders, and maybe they didn't know any better, but that's why I wrote that post to educate on that. So you're not gonna hear me talk about, ooh, what's in store for you on the Lionsgate. I'm not gonna be lame like that. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm sorry. I will talk about the actual like rarity of the astrology going on, namely when Mars leaves Virgo finally on August 6th, because for me, like Mars on the South Node, anytime they're hanging out together, I'm just like, oh, okay, can we just like get through this? Because like the South Node's always the illusion of things, and then Mars is like that aggressive, wants to identify this is what it is. And so in Virgo, it's like, you know, this day-to-day rhythm, routine, schedule, my health, my vitality, how my body's feeling, like it's just not fun. But it's a shedding, it's a release, right? It's a South Node, but it's aggressive, it doesn't feel good. So I've been, seeing a lot of like inflammation, like what can seem like very intrusive, worry-based thoughts. Like for me specifically, how it's hitting my astrology, it's like that Mars masculine energy of patterns around work and like feeling enslaved, but that it's like it's a belief, it's a story that this is just how it is, like there's a stuckness to it. So this South Node Mars that's been going on has been teaching us how to release these matrix realities that we kind of actually imprison ourselves in. Like we have the key, we can get out, we just have to actually slow down and be present enough in that moment of things that Virgo brings up, because it can get really busy. We're doing a lot of activities, there's a lot of information that we're mentally processing, and we have the key to get out of that. And so, but it is slowing down enough to pause and see that, and to not just like keep going and be like an Energizer bunny that's broke. It actually kind of reminds me of like the robots that you see, especially looks like in more like Oriental like cultures. I'm not sure exactly which one, so I'm just referring in general, but these like AI robots that are going around doing stuff, and then they start like short circuiting and acting all weird and crazy and shit, because they're basically like an early on prototype. But that's almost like what we're doing at that Virgo human level, I think, a little bit. Can be like really going just like on autopilot, going through the motions. So I think we all kind of get a little bit of a free pass for that added level of stress and struggle that can definitely feel very health related. So I don't want anyone to like freak out and be like, what's going on with my health? It's not going to go away completely. I can't promise that because it's still South Node in Virgo till the summer of next year, spring, summer. But it is Mars finally leaving Virgo. And so when it actually goes into Libra, it's going to make a fairly rare formation that happens in astrology called a kite. And just like it sounds, it's like a kite, like flying a kite. And so you could think of this as like there's harmonious astrology that feels really good, grooving, but then there's also some tension. It's kind of like a kite. It's like we're having fun, like this is flowing, it's fun. But then there's like the tension of like needing the right amount of like, air and the right amount of like slack in the string. And it could get like really intense, especially because this is a kite formation that deals with the planets Uranus and Gemini. Now, that Mars that's coming into Libra this month on the 6th, and it'll be here, Pluto and Aquarius, and then also both Saturn and Neptune in Aries. And so it's fire and air. It's a fire and air kite. So it's that intensity of things. And so what I like about this, and what I'm especially going to point out, the areas of life for all 12 signs, like where it shows up, these configurations of these signs in this kite is a chance to use your free will to make some tough decisions and not pussyfoot around to get out of like whatever reality that you've still been hanging on to because you're afraid of the uncertain, uncharted territory ahead. And actually the courage, the bravery to go into your highest timeline and actually liberate yourself, liberate your soul, like just get on with it already. Like we've already been seeing this whole thing just like falling apart since 2020. A lot of it's been just a facade and any of it's still working. So it's not falling for the illusion that there needs to be something that we need to hold on to that still has some utility to it with that South Node in Virgo. It's North Node in Pisces. It's about the surrender, the release, the intuitive, spiritual, like follow the leader that is your soul, that is your very intuitive side. And that it's more so about this lunar subconscious energy. It's not about, let me just fix and do all these South Node Virgo things and tweak this and tweak that. And it really much becomes the dark side of self-development, especially because Mars has been here, but it's like now it's Mars in Libra, it's in fall, not gonna lie. Mars wants to charge forward, but in Libra, it's got to wait things out. It's got to make decisions. And so there's always these pause moments, and Mars can't ever really get fully going. You can think about it too as like Libra's relationships, and Mars, has to like identify through the relationships. And so a lot of this is going to be, how do we communicate very directly in our relationships, but keeping it diplomatic? And that can be really hard because it's in that opposition to Saturn, Neptune. So it's like we have to use our free will to have empathy. Like if you look around, like it's kind of like sometimes no one gives a fuck, like not in like a, anarchist way, but more like where's the compassion, the empathy. And it's like with Neptune now here on Saturn, it takes a high level of personal mastery, accountability to have empathy for situations. And now it's going to be situations going on in our relationships for sure. But in the grander kite formation, it's where groups of people, society, where the world is at, the technological advancement side of things, the hidden things, the unexpected things, the trying to figure it out, like what is exactly going on, but like it's like trying to catch a frog. It just keeps slipping out of our fingers. And so this could be everything from what's going on the world front, on a economical front, on a personal, financial, personal health front, like direction that we're going. We kind of almost just got to leap spiritually with what we know that is who we are and the best that we can do with that. And what's hard is like, it's not going to come in like some perfect moment, like I'm ready to go. Like this is the moment, but it's having to detach from the reality that already is like crumbling like a cookie. Like, I don't know why it was the most random thing, but it was like a reel of someone in a, like an old bomb shelter that had like cookies in a tin from like a bomb shelter when the world was worried about like nukes going off in America. And it was like these cookies, and then they opened it. It was in there for like 72 years or something, and then the cookie just like crumbled, right? And it's kind of like, well, what was the point of that? What was the point of like doing that besides the, oh my God, that cookie's been in there forever? And it's almost like that's the kind of the weird mundane energy that I think that we'll look back on this in history 100 years from now and go like, like that was so dumb. Like, why did we give our attention to that? It was so mundane in the grand scheme of the advancement of where we're going as a civilization and where we can go spiritually, where we can go with our personal freedoms. That's what I'm really talking about this month for all, 12 signs. Of course, we do have a new moon in Virgo too, which is really phenomenal to me because it's exactly at 0 degrees Virgo, but it's South Node in Virgo. So it's like the weird thing of not trying to over perfect or over purify situations in life to fix it, make it better. Like it's almost like the false start new moon because it's with the South Node of thinking that like we're going to control and make everything perfect. That's what I'm seeing is like it's control issues. And then we got the full moon even before that, which is going to be in Aquarius. Not really aspecting much this month, but I will say that it's a reminder to shed the dead weight to actually go into our highest timeline. And what do I mean when I say highest timeline? It's nice that Jupiter and Venus are in Cancer, which they're also conjuncting this month, because we can get into a relaxed, beautiful state of being that can be really comfortable depending on who you are and what your sign is, and to really step into the embodiment of the vision. And I think there's this nice configuration of everything that Mars in the South Node has been bringing up, of like shedding like almost like literally layers of the physical body, old cellular DNA that's like broke as dick as fuck, like has no purpose, like it's just pure reptilian survival stuff, just protection, and moving that out of the way so that these higher frequency codes can come in. And so I think this Jupiter Venus that's meeting on the 11th is actually going to be an opportunity to step into more of the embodiment of the manifestation piece, which manifestation, that buzzword doesn't even do it justice. It's an embodiment to really receive like a higher, more beautiful state of being that does embody our vision of like where we want to go. And so the embodiment piece is a reminder to like, you're safe. Like you're safe to exist in like walking the walk and looking at the rest of the astrology, talking the talk, taking the aligned actions that actually fit where you want to go. So it's like this really giant, unknown, fucking can feel like Moses parting the waters and hot fire coals and just all these different legs of the journey of blind faith to say that this is like, especially as we're in Leo season for most of this month, and that Mercury retrograde that is going to take up a little piece of this first beginning of the month, that the courage of the heart to like choose that timeline and to actually like think and grow and go in those directions that embody that, and to actually take the real actions and to actually see that even just in the part of the grand air trine that forms part of this kite formation between Pluto and Aquarius, Uranus and Gemini, and that Mars and Libra, shit can get figured out. Like we can think, we can weigh things out and make decisions and think outside of the box and use the trends in technology and, you know, understand that like we don't need to fall for our own fear-based illusions of not even just red tape, but even like slowing down, like being too cautious, the yellow tape version of things. Now, I know a lot of people too, you know, that are watching this, like some of us are very sensitive beings. I know I am. And so it's like, it can be hard to keep up like with this, right? So it's like my greatest offering here collectively is to remind everyone that as you're going through this, and it's like can feel very like rapid change and opportunities for liberation, the liberation comes in your energetic field. I would look to the solar plexus and that internal battery very much, especially because Virgo does rule the stomach, and that south node there, it's like we got to make sure that we're not letting some karmic thing drain us. And that's different for everyone. Like we have to just know what our mental patterns are, mental thinking loops that can actually pull us out of the spiritual faith-based surrender of like going into the higher timeline that we would like to go on, that involves people, it involves connection and community and growth and family, and definitely an explosion of a return to more wholesome family values with Venus meeting with Jupiter. So I like the astrology of this month, but what I don't like is falling into just the day-to-day monotonous patterns that feels like something's unachievable, because the circumstances just feel kind of like blah. And that's what's almost weird. It's like using that to the advantage of going, well, this feels blah anyway, so like how do I create excitement and break out of this like boring, mundane, what can feel like it's been more survival based stuff, and actually go in a direction that you don't need permission from anyone to like go there. You don't need my permission. You don't need your spouse's permission. You don't need your family's permission. Like if you're acting authentically and you're doing it through a spiritual lens of things, and that it's not hurting anyone and it's of service, it's like break out of these mental prisons that hold things back, and just a reminder that even the reinforcement of the stupid shit in the media and government, politics, and just all the dumb shit. Like I'm so fucking sick of people, and I know that some of it's like ghostwriters that are like basically people that are just paid to like stir the pot, and then some dumb motherfuckers just participate. And if you're one of those dumb motherfuckers, just, I don't know, get an IQ assessment or something. I'm kidding, but kind of. But like, it's the whole thing. It's like these trends that come and go, they're just distractions. Like the latest ones, the Sydney Sweeney fucking jeans commercial and the shit that pops up on social media. It's just like, who gives a fuck? What the fuck does that have to do with anything that is available to us right now in terms of what we can co-create in community and possibilities? You know, it's almost like we finally got to this moment, this early on moment where you can't unplug from whatever the fuck that you want with this kite formation, but then like being afraid to do it because it's not like the cool thing to do or like the trendy thing to do. And it's like, you have to trust your own personal compass, like big time. And to see that, like, you know, like basically it would be like, hey, let's go have fun. It's a sunny, windy day. Let's fly a kite. And God's like, let's fly it. And it's like the inner child's like too scared to do it. And be like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to mess it up. And it's like, if you mess up, you mess up. But like, it'll still be fun even if you slip or mess up. So the main thing this month is really to just like, it's like going against the grain and not enjoying the opportunities that are here and having fun by just doing the same monotonous bullshit over and over again. I can't stress that enough, just how new all this really is. And so I'm actually going to move into the signs now. So starting with Aries. So Aries, this is Mars going into Libra, your 7th house, relationships. And so this is what's going to create that kite formation. So you're looking a lot this month at situations with people, your relationships, shedding old forms of communication, big time, evolving your thinking, how you think, communicate with others. It's kind of a re-identification in yourself. It's kind of humbling, actually, because there's consequences to like being the over assertive Aries that is too hard-nosed like for the direction, because you kind of got to like figure out like where do your relationships stand and like how do your friends groups and communities stand in things. So it's almost like being a little bit of a liaison of sorts, you know, like a facilitator of communication, a coordinator. And it's not meant to be like spending too much time on like how people are feeling about things. It's more about like how to like kind of like get things done, get things accomplished, make decisions on things. And so it's an important part of where you're going. And I would say best advice would be just don't like rock the boat and just get impatient and just say like this is what we're doing without like checking in with all the stakeholders in the situation. Because like if you go and do that, you're just kind of like defaulting to like the old version of like the Aries energy, which, because we're getting like a big weird spiritual facelift with that Saturn Neptune in Aries. And so it's like it does require like more patience, like more empathy, like not so much like charging forward. So whatever it is that you got on the line, Aries, like that's going on in your life this month, like these are pretty big decisions that are going to have a big ripple effect through I'd say at least through April of next year minimum. And then you don't want to have to spend your spring, summer like repairing like decisions that were made that were not thinking things through fully. So if you've got some big decisions to make this month, and you need some support with that, feel free to book an astrology reading. And also, I was going to say too, I mean, you could check out the Uranus special that I did, which goes through all 12 signs, and you could take a look at like what Uranus means for your sign going forward. But that's more of like a 7-ish year transit. That's more macro stuff. Like I think that you need like to kind of like periscope in on things a little bit and like really like make sure that you know what the details are, but you're seeing the details from more of a spiritual lens of things. So Taurus, well, bulls, I do like Mars going into Libra for you, because at least you can start to get some things done here if you've been the bull that's been a little bit hesitant. Now, this kite formation is dealing very much a lot with your work, career life. What you're building, what you're creating, like it definitely deals with resources and people and money situations to create things and make things happen. If you're trying to work alone, it's just going to be frustrating. You're not meant to be in isolation. And so that's where the tension in this kite this month is going to be for you, is having to process fears that you probably don't need to process, and you just need to like connect and be around people and communicate like what the needs are, what the scope is of the work, of what it is that you're wanting to accomplish. Like there's really no shortage of resources of people that you can create with and find value in. And it doesn't even have to be money. It can just be the currency of just even like figuring things out through talking with people, like conversating. And so it's a really positive thing if you're willing to be vulnerable and kind of like express, like, especially around these, you know, projects and even career type situations, like where you just need some support, but even on a spiritual front too, even just the support of like prayer and manifestation and that sort of thing, like kind of like renewing what your vision is every day so that you're anchoring into a timeline that actually feels configured, that's like the higher, better one that you could actually like reach for, because like you're the poster child for choose the thing that you're going to go for that really is the higher timeline that you're creating day after day. And it might feel a little new and weird and pioneering to take what that is, then figure out, like mapping it out like it's a miniature model of like where do all the people, situations, and resources that you need. And I would almost like say, like, go back to the organic nature of things and kind of like use your creativity and communicate between left brain and right brain to figure stuff out, and maybe like put the cheat codes like ChatGPT aside for a little bit, to not accidentally like create some like laziness there, because you want like some inspiration. You want to be inspired through what it is that you're doing, because that spark of inspiration is what's going to be creating your higher timeline. And then you'd have to like kind of renew that spark every day by studying your vision, your plans of where you want things to go. And I'd say the refinement is to keep seeing like how do people fit into that, so that there's not like this lone wolf energy. So that can be a lot to figure out. But I would say, Taurus, you're looking this month at how do you take it to a higher, better place and map out the strategy of what you actually want to do. And like, don't wait. Like, this is like, you don't want to wait until the spring of next year to start, because, you know, it reminds me of like the Chinese Zodiac race and how they ordered the different things. And it was like the ox that finished second, which is you know, the bull, but finished second because of consistency, but then didn't like waiting till the spring could feel like believing that you're going to still finish in the top, you know, 1 or 2 spots, but you didn't like get the head start. So like the head start now is to like go for that now. And, you know, if you got to work with like a mentor, this might sound kind of weird, but like a priest or a priestess, you know, someone that knows how to like ordain you in the magic of getting out of like any like self-doubts or anything like that, to help you like move in that direction of belief, like take those opportunities. So if you need help figuring out like the thing that you think you want to create, or you're not sure what's the best one or how to create it, like all the like question marks that you have on the what if of knowing that there's something bigger and beautiful that you want to do, but there's question marks and doubts and things holding you back, and you want to like get that configuration, take advantage of this time, Taurus. That's where I would book an astrology reading. So moving on to Geminis. Well, gems, never called you that before, but maybe you are a gem this month. I don't know. Who's to say? I'm just an astrologer. I just read the tea leaves of the stars, Gemini. So Mars coming into Libra to create this kite formation, 5th house. So, you know, love, situations, playfulness, but it's more than that. So much more than that. That's part of the spearhead effort, is to have a fuck ton of fun and be creative and the romance of life. But it's connected to, do you understand the unfolding of this new person that you're becoming with Uranus in your sign, where it might feel like you're not fully grounded, centered, rooted, you know, and it's a little bit of like feeling like light-footed and maybe some excitement. You know, you got to do some stuff around people and community. You know, you're meant to expand your social circles. At least that's what I see, you know. And so creating that and mapping that's a good idea. And it's not hard, just like keep it basic. Like, what can you do now? Like, everything should be geared more towards what's the next just obvious step that almost a dumbass could do that is gonna like take me towards that direction, because the quality step for you is actually going to be in the thing that is just the obvious thing to do, and it's actually going to be nourishing, but it might not feel nourishing at first. It might feel overwhelming, so it's like you take that step. But it's definitely check your world beliefs on things, check how you're identifying with people and stuff like that. Take a step back and just see that like you're changing, how you see people is changing, but like get into the excitement mode of like what it is that like you can like really create, like where you're, you know, a team player and like a leader and able to like influence people. So like groups of people are like a really good thing for you. The only way I see like your ideas like falling flat is if you just really don't believe in them. It doesn't matter if it's like technologically inclined or not or whatever. It's more so just like, how do you feel? Do you feel good? Do you feel nourished? Do you feel like you're being even compensated fairly, like money wise? Like, do you feel seen, appreciated for who you are and how you're showing up? Like, those are your, I'd say, metrics to like check in with on those things. And then if like those things aren't feeling good, then you probably just need a bigger idea. You need a bigger idea. You need a thing that is actually going to shock and surprise people. So honestly, Gemini, I think you got something in the tank that like would shock the shit out of people that you think maybe the world's not ready for, but you're kind of like maybe doing all these other things to kind of like keep it basic in terms of the higher vision because you're afraid it's going to be too much for people. How do you know, right? So honestly, Gemini is like, that's where I would consider doing a reading with me this month if you want, is like, what is that higher, more enlightened, epiphany based zenith like vision of things that you think that it's going to make you too far out there, and I'll be able to like walk you through and show you how you can do it, the bigger vision, the steps to take, what you need to shift within yourself, and then how it's actually going to be a godsend to people, and it's actually what the world needs. So if you want to get in on that, you will find the link around this video somewhere, or just message me for it. Cancers. Well, Cancer, this kite formation that I've been talking about this month, it's a big deal that deals with Mars coming into Libra. It's in your 4th house, so it's in a comfy zone. So just go back to sleep, Cancer. Pillow. No, in all sincerity, like, you're probably gonna have trouble napping, sleeping, if anything. Like, you'll probably be going through a mode, Cancer, where it's like your body's just gonna like let you know there's gonna be a switch that kind of flips where it's like, okay, I got my power nap in, or I got my 6 hours or my 8 hours or whatever keeps you balanced, and then you got to go balance out into the other parts of things, which is just like, you know, you got to move your energy, you got to move in a direction. So moving your body can be really good. I think you've got a lot of energy going through you with that Venus Jupiter that's meeting this month in your sign, and then also the rest of this kite formation that deals with Mars, 12th house, 8th house, 10th house. So I mean, it's okay to hustle and work at Cancer. Like, it's okay to do the hustle, and it could feel a little bit like chasing the dollar a little bit. But I think what matters is your boundaries of like, and it's between you and God, Goddess, the divine. It's like, how are you giving back to people or helping people? That's the main thing. It's like, how can you be like the Robin Hood that doesn't put themselves in like danger for no reason, because that Mars down in your 4th wants safety, it wants peace, so it doesn't want to be overly exposed. Like, Spirit will let you know when you need to like grow up and expose and put yourself out there, with Saturn, Neptune in the 10th. So I would be looking at this as like where you invest your energy is going to, just day after day, is going to just very in a basic sense, going to define where you're at by the spring of next year. And I mentioned the spring because, you know, that's really when these outer planets get more permanent into these new fire and air signs that you've been hearing me talk about for a couple of months or so. But we're in it now. Like, so it's like, use it now. Cause, you know, I even mentioned this to the other signs, but it's like September 1st. So next month I'll be talking about Saturn back in Pisces. So it's like this brave new world energy that's like not fully there and hasn't like fully like shown its face yet, because Saturn and Neptune haven't fully met. You could get a head start, you know, on your plans and your strategy, and it's okay if it's like longer term, because like it's really about where you're investing your energy, like more longer term, like where's society going, what do people need, like chef's kiss to like, you know, if you can really spot the big gaping wound that groups of people need met, that's probably really much like people needing like spiritual support for like fears that they're going through. But then it's like, you know, obviously you got to make sure you face your own fears, especially your fears around achieving, reaching higher, like actually getting up and like doing something potent. So your home life, your emotions, like your balance needs to be so that you can take care of yourself better to rise to the occasion, to go out and create these awesome mammoth things that you're invited to do. So not super worried about Cancer unless you try to like go against your body's like own alarm clock and like hitting the snooze button. The place, honestly, I could help you. It's like, sure, we can map out the astrology and do a reading with you this month if you want to book one. But I mean, there's always value in that. But I'd say more specifically, you might actually be more of a candidate for some subconscious like support with like hypnosis or like energy work and that sort of thing, and like tuning you up for performance and I'd say almost like spiritual efficiency of connection with your subconscious and getting over fears and processing blocks more internally, because actually like where you can go and what you could create can be fairly basic and straightforward. Like the plan, it just needs to be inspired to like help people. But if you still need help with that part too, obviously there's astrology reading too, but astrology, hypnosis would be your candidates if you need further support, want to go deeper into some supportive structures, Cancer. So hit me up for that if you would like to get in on that. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll post a link down below too. And just don't do it on Facebook because the algorithms are weird. Moving on to Leos. Your month of August, Leo. Got that Mercury retrograde finishing up. Got Leo season, so I think you'll take care of it. You know what to do, right? Just don't dull your own light. But really the bigger thing that we're talking about here this month is this kite formation that's coming in that really sets a big precedent for this month and deals with the outer planets. So Mars coming into Libra in your third house of your mind, your thinking. Definitely a tug of war between wanting to have probably some peace of mind, but then like having to face like some ironclad truth around your belief systems and whether or not they're taking you in the direction that you're really meant to go, that's of service, that's a higher spiritual vibration and timeline that allows you to take your relationships with you. It can be a really abundant month if you get over your fears with that Venus, Jupiter meeting in the 12th. But I think that you really just gotta check the fears, the fear-based thoughts, the fear-based thinking. Don't waste your time like playing like the what if game and like getting overwhelmed by what basically over time can be a story that makes sense in real challenges, but at some point it starts like introducing falsities of irrational fears in there somewhere, Leo. So basically it's just like, don't trip out. It's like you're the creator of you know, your domain, your kingdom, your reality. Like, don't tie your own shoelaces, like with weird things that you think are going on with people that actually like aren't. Like, you got to make sure that you're getting the patterns of understanding people's thinking right by actually connecting and talking with them and having conversations. And so I'd say a lot of this flying your kite high is like, and I mentioned this for you last month, but it's like you could have conversations with people, see where they're really at. But you can make some decisions that, you know, are more for your long term and expansion, and use, you know, technology to be supportive, or at least like people, relationships that know how to use technology to help you get there. You know, like choose a high mark, Leo. You know, like, doesn't have to be the highest mountain in the world, but it's got to be something that you feel just like really, I'd say, satisfied with, in terms of like, okay, I feel it in my heart, I feel it, I've checked in my intuition, I've checked in with my all levels of my being. I would be pretty happy if I could achieve that. And it's like, okay, we'll go there. Go do that thing. Take that vision. It's pretty basic and straightforward. It's like, this is what I need to do. Oh, okay, here's some gaps. Here's some things I don't know how to work out. Do I want to delegate that to people, or do I want to, like, you know, extend myself and figure it out? Because that's going to be your big thing, is like making sure that you're not overextending your energy to go and like connect too many like things together, where it's like, maybe you don't need to like hack the algorithm, and you just have your person that knows the algorithms of certain parts of life to do it for you. That's part of your visions. That's everything. It can be everything from your personal life, your family, you know, your work situation, your bigger, greater vision, you know, friends, community, like all of it. Like, you got to be the CEO of your own life, big time, Leo. Like, be your king, queen in that way. And I know that you are. It's just, I want to give you a reminder that, you know, it's not super hard to figure things out once you identify who has the knowledge of what it is that you need to accomplish. And that's more the main thing, is that there's people in your circle, and then if you don't know that person, then you need to like, you need to like ask the universe for that to come in, or manifest that shit, or at least start putting the word out to people that you trust, you know, like what you're looking for. And then if it's not showing up yet, that's okay, because maybe the thing that you think is step 2 and 3 doesn't need to come in until the spring of next year. And it's teaching you something more on a personal level of embodiment that you need to do to be the rightful ruler, king, queen, that's able to like own that shit fully when it does mature. So I'd say that's the biggest place I could probably help you out, Leo, if you need support this month, is like, what's the rootedness in your embodiment, like piece of it, on a spiritual front of like getting relationship support to like help you tune your frequency, to take you to a level that you haven't explored yet, and that someone, like a relationship or a person or a group, actually has those codes for you. And so you have to trust who you're drawn to in that sense, for sure. But you know, and just on the astrology front too, like, so I guess what I'm talking about here is basically for you, it's like, it's timeline work, it's future life progression work, it's tuning into like the possibilities of where you could go, and like what are the things that your future self needs to come in. And then we can find some of that and through your astrology too, if you want to do a reading where it's like, it's looking at it through the lens of how to like, honestly, it'd probably mostly be like mapping out like what it is that you know that you need to do, but like the prioritization of it, and then also the what to go look into that you haven't explored, that you don't know, probably hooking up with this person or a person that knows this thing or knows that thing. It's like being able to point you in the direction of the area that you need to go explore that you haven't maybe checked out yet, that's going to help you get there in that supportive nature. So on to Virgos. Oops. Ice cream man's rolling through Virgos. You want some ice cream? You don't, Virgo. You value your health too much, right? Picky eaters. No, I'm just playing, Virgo. I don't know. Maybe you don't feel that way right now. I mean, you've had fucking South Node going through your sign. Maybe you're just like, hey, I'm just like trying to get by, man. But in all sincerity, it is nice. You got Mars. I'd say it's good leaving your sign. Like, so like, I'll use like my son, for example. He's a Virgo, you know, it's like he loves basketball and he's on the team in the fall and that. He's in high school, and it's one of those things where his energy felt low, or like, you know, like his arm was hurting, you know, very South Node Mars stuff in his sign that's Virgo. So for you Virgos, it's like, cool, you're moving on from that. Just try to get through this like first week to the 6th. And then when Mars goes into Libra and is in your second house, your money, your self-worth situations, opposing that Saturn Neptune as a part of that Kaya, this is definitely about financial resources, self-worth, the people that you hang out with, that you invest in and they invest in you. And the other part of that Kaya, that Uranus in the 10th and Gemini, and Pluto and Aquarius in the 6th. And so it's a complex combination of like the people that you're around and what you're investing your energy into and your self-worth and finances, but definitely around work achievement stuff. So like my son, for example, you know, it would be like, what's his routine going to be in terms of like how he sustainably, you know, basically trains, you know, to be good at what he wants to be good at and achieve, like day after day, that's very rewarding and consistent and doesn't like burn himself out. So it's like you have to like kind of take that same thing to like probably your career or anything that feels like achievement based. And if you haven't gotten that wake up call yet, it's Uranus in your 10th. Hello, like wake up. Like this is not Uranus in your 9th right now, where it's just like all, you know, fun and games of exploring different ideas and shit and, you know, like entertainment or something. This is you like kind of like being more of the entertainer, you know, like being seen, being poised, and the excitement, and, you know, could be platforms of communication and sharing what you know, or, you know, changes in occupations, like get you into like more of an exciting territory. The positivity of the manifestation vision piece of Venus and Jupiter is in your 11th. So just please choose something that feels gosh darn good in terms of your future, your timeline of where you can go. Don't be afraid, like, because you kind of need to know where you're going in order to like work through any fears or laziness that could come up, indecision, or I don't want to because that's not comfortable, or I don't feel like I have all my potency. You've got spiritual relationships that can help you figure it out and like talk some sense into you, like where you need the sense of like kind of going like, hey, this doesn't make sense where you're at, you're not enjoying it. So it's like, but you're smart, so it's like you'll figure it out when you get there. That's like kind of like your mantra right now, Virgo. It's like, go take action and ask questions after. It's like, I'll figure it out when I get there. But you got to like choose your mark of where it is that you really want to go and be pretty outwardly focused in that way. I'd say it is a more of a focus on just like your extroverted life of like what it is that you want to connect to, and that actually feels exciting and, you know, puts you out into the world and shakes things up a bit in that way. So yeah, Virgo, if you're having, you know, health stuff, or you don't feel like you have all your energy and you're trying to figure out, well, how do I do more, but with like feeling like maybe I have like less in the tank, holler, reach out, book a reading, book an energy work session, something that we could just like at least move some of that negativity that I'm sure is releasing out of you with South Node in your sign. It has been with Mars there. The fear doesn't linger in your energetic field, in your vibration, you know, so that you can actually show up to the more enthusiastic element and surprise nature of things and how surprising and positive, life can be, that it's not going to come to you if you're not committed to something on a daily routine, consistent front that actually puts you in the driver's seat of using your free will to actually go in a more positive direction than what you've ever experienced. Into the other 6 zodiac signs, first 6, spring and summer. Last 6 are always fall, autumn, winter. So that first one of the fall, it's you, Libras. Well, it's Mars coming into your sign. That could be a boost. You are the sign, if there was any, that is getting the boost with your vitality, your longevity, but some of it also depends how you took care of your craziness that you probably just went through with that Mars South Node and Virgo in your 12th house, not spinning out of control or getting swallowed up into your fears. The Mars opposition to Saturn, Neptune in Aries in your 7th house, it's definitely asking for balance in your relationships. You've got to be the diplomat. You're going to have to be the unshakable one. You need to be unshakable in negotiations, communication, situations, people, not in a, I don't care type way, because that'll show immaturity, but you have to be kind of solid like a rock, Libra. That's just the task that you have. But take what the challenges are that you're going through, especially anything that's family situations or, relationships, money situations, home life stuff, and see that all those challenges are not happening by accident. So you need to keep your bigger goal vision in mind of what you want to be, even if it feels how am I ever going to get there? Because you need the sustainable faith in your energy to believe in that and to think and grow rich in that way. Trying to find ways through all this of having fun, still taking breaks, being sociable. It can't all be responsibility and hard decisions and relationship stuff. It's also got to be relationships and romance and kid-like stuff that allows you to remember the zest of life, that you can't just it can't all be responsibility. You'll just bleed yourself dry. So I don't think it's a bad month, Libra, if you can just realize that once August 6th hits, especially the 7th, or wait till the Lionsgate. Kidding. Check the intro if you didn't catch the joke there on me poking fun at the Lionsgate. But it's once the 6th gets here and Mars is in your sign, it's take a breath and go. It reminds me of oh shit, I've been in this 12th house weird zone. I gotta clean up here. I've been maybe feeling slack and falling behind, and that's natural. You probably needed to grieve some weird shit. Maybe some of it wasn't yours, could be ancestral, karmic, blah, 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 whatever. But you're in a position now where it's the openings are there for the fun, the excitement. No expectations with it. It's more just you create the harmony from a little bit more detachment from the outcome, the expectations. Keep your long-term vision in mind, Libra. Now, I could probably support you best if you want to book a reading or some other type of supportive session. I'll put those links below. It's your long-term vision, really getting you to really fucking believe in that thing that you want to do 30 years from now, even if it seems a little bit, implausible in terms of the rationale of it. That's not the important part. This is more about, I'd say, that vision, and then how to help you make decisions that can feel maybe tough, or at least make the same decision that you've already made to move on from situations that aren't benefiting you relationship wise, and to see that everyone's actually better for it when you let go of like situations that are too sewer-like, you know. It's kind of like, hey, those people that you love or that you connect with, but they want to hang out in the sewers and the gutter. It's like, you want to like put a hazmat suit on and hang out there. What are you missing out on? A lot of helping people and connections and a lot of beautiful things, Libra, when you give too much to people that maybe they're your loved ones or you used to, or people that want to be around you, but you really got to value your energy right now, Libra. That's a big thing for you. So if you want to book that reading, just drop me a message, or if you're watching this on YouTube, that link will be down below. We just did Libras. Scorpios. Scorpio party. I don't know, are you partying, Scorpio? Maybe not. You probably realize that you got a lot of those day-to-day responsibilities that you got to stay on track with, because it's weird. It's like it's Mars in your 12th. Dun, dun, dun. That's a hard one. It's the house of self-sabotage, right? It's where you can get like push too hard and get too aggressive for some 12th house like Libra thing that feels like a relationship, a money situation, but it's really a form of escape. So you kind of have to balance it with your day-to-day responsibilities and not just like ghost them completely. Your day-to-day life, your routine, like you need that anchor, and let your day-to-day routine and the satisfaction of achieving that give you the foundation, the vehicle for the daydreaming of like what could come in your life. But it comes in through the law of attraction manifestation of like you're staying sane, like you're staying rational in like what it is that you're doing. Not trying to pick on you, Scorpio, but it's like it's Mars going through your 12th at fall, and it is the traditional ruler of your sign too, right? So it's like it definitely would be you sabotaging and too fantasy-like in that way if you're not careful. There's a big vision like that should be so easy, like it's like falling out of bed every morning, that keeps you motivated of where you can go, that's like truly possible. You just got to work it. You just got to take care of your work responsibilities to get to that vision and shoot high, you know, and take the consistent steps. It's really not rocket science. It could be like something like with the people that you want to be around, your community, where you want your home in the world to be, like who you want to be like intimate with, romantic with, you know, those types of things, like even your investments, like financially. But it's not about like trying to really control these things. It's more about like the vision of who that you want to, like the things you want to fall in love with, like the way that you make your money, the way that you invest your energy, like potential romantic partners, like friendships, community, like power circles, dare I say, where it's like, you know, being around people that know how to like talk and actually get shit like through, like get shit done. I don't mean to say this in like a political way, I never do, but it's like, it'd be like Trump, you know, and like surrounding himself with people that know how to like get stuff done. Like, you know, apparently like whether it's good, bad, ugly, right, wrong, like it seems like if you compare it to most presidents, he's doing all this shit. Some people say, well, that's a dictator. It's like, maybe, I don't know. But the point is like he puts people around him that know how to help him get shit done. And so I'm not saying go be Trump, Scorpios. I'm saying like be around people that know how to like help you get into your magic, to be this really awesome alchemist that you could be, to rise up like a fucking phoenix rising out of the ashes and like not staying in any, you know, it could be, you know, laziness, delusion, that sort of thing, and go, you know, it's like your vision's not going to fuck itself, meaning like, you know, it's like manifesting needs like, this is what I want, masculine, and then the feminine like seeding. I know, yes, I just did that on camera. I don't care. And it's Scorpio horoscope. And so it's like, it's not going to fuck itself. Like, you need the receptivity. You need to feel good about where it is that you're going. But like, you need like that, the action stuff. Like, it's super basic, Scorpio. Like, I wouldn't, you can't depend on good luck forever. I'm just going to say it like that. You've got one of the luckiest transits right now, and that might sound very generic astrology, but it's Jupiter in the ninth. But because Venus is here to actually anchor it in and make it a little bit more tangible and more real, like, don't fuck this up, Scorpio. Like, use the vision and the exponential growth of like where you could go that's like very real and very rooted, and just to design your daily life in a way that you don't have to like short circuit your energy or burn yourself out. But it's about how you just get motivated as a Scorpio by something that you want that feels really big and beautiful, and to know how to like flip the switch and have the energy to go do that thing. So I'd say helping you out would probably look like the astrology reading to identify like where you're maybe getting in your own way, like with a few things. And it's just like, let's just like trim the hedges a little bit, just take care of XYZ things. Here's the bigger picture of what you're missing out on, like where FOMO's like real, and then like just go and like do these incremental changes this week, and then do these incremental changes like the next week. And it's like, and then after that, it's like, be the Scorpio that knows how to trust. And it's Uranus in your 8 too. It's like, you got to trust that at any like given time, things can be surprising. Like, things can change. Your circumstances can change like so fucking quick. And it's probably a communication thing around money or something like that. But it's probably more of a universe's, I'd say, reward, you know, for staying positive about where you're going, but then actually like making it real and not just like optimism, like not rooted in fact. So moving on to Sagittarius. So Sag, this is Mars going into Libra for you, which is your 11th house. So people, connections, relationships. I mean, as a Sag, you tend to be like more sociable anyway, which is great. So it's like, this is just about putting more energy and more effort into your community, your friendships, your relationships. If it's like a romantic partnership, it could be like going on the date or going on like group dates, friends dates. You know, it's like, it's a lot of like, go out, have fun, like be in the world. Unless you're somehow sabotaging your situation, Sag, like from just like, you know, not paying attention, like investing in all the wrong areas that are like too like taboo and don't even make sense. You're probably resourced enough to like go do those things, like go enjoy yourself. It's a lot about your relationships, this kite energy overall. It is you being able to communicate like your needs too with people, relationships, communicate boundaries, like being effective like in those communication pieces. The reason too that it's like beneficial for like the sociable energy of like connections and the people that you trust and going out and the having fun thing is because you want to create that spiritual comfort of knowing that you could go do those things and you have the range to do that, because you're not in the favorable energy of like a career transit right now. Like your career, like the whole public image thing, it's just not where you're at. Like it'll just stress you out if that's your focus. And you probably would have noticed that over the last like 6 weeks or so with Mars in your 10th with that South node. So Now it becomes more about, you know, hey, maybe there's even a social responsibility for, you know, those that you help or those that you connect with, and just in life in general, however that looks, by you going and keeping your frequency high and having fun and connecting with the right relationships and right people. So you don't owe anyone anything. Like, if anything, this is the relationships and the situations that feel like they're giving back, invest into them more. It's awesome. You don't need to bring in like more, you know, the more will come from the attraction of your energy, your energetic vibration, like walking in your truth. Yeah, you don't need to go into like weird, you know, areas, Sag, that are just too just weird, taboo, like for the excitement and the thrill of it, because it brings up distractions of like what's good, what's wholesome, what's actually like safe and sustainable. So if you need more support than that, Sag, I think honestly, because it's so hard, because, you know, I could help you out in any way that you need it, depending on where you're at. But some clues I would say would be how to like take this phase and actually bake it into your long-term vision. That's probably more like a 3-year vision, to be patient with it now, and like how to like master the things that you could do now that maybe seems like it's not the hustle stuff that you're like used to doing, and how that's actually gonna like dovetail and like benefit into going into your like long term, and like what exactly are those things that you could do to actually experience a lot more love, fun, fulfillment, but also like prosper through it too, and dealing with relationships. So hit me up if you want that booking link. If you're watching this on YouTube, that link will be down below anyway. Moving on to Capricorns. Caps, I mean, this is nice. I mean, it's Mars up in the 10th in Libra. Libra's your 10th house, achievement, being seen. Libra's your 10th house because like you being the powerful like ruler that and leader that you can be with your ironclad Saturn-like decision making. You want to be fair and diplomatic with your public challenges and issues, and so it's like it's showing up in that way. It's like being impartial, it's being peaceful, it's being, you know, copacetic with just the different situations going on in the world. It's, you know, with the rest of the kite, it's like offering tools and insights to people that vibe with you, that like help people like through challenges, or like sharing about your challenges that could feel really personal and vulnerable, but like there's actually a lot of strength and leadership of that vulnerability piece right now. There's a lot of energy at the bottom of your chart. So it's like the personal energy of having to turn things inside out of what's going on more in your personal life. Also part of the kite is that Pluto in Aquarius in the 2nd. So it's kind of weird, but it's like, I just want to remind you that as motivated as you are, you know, by things of, it could be the achievement or money stand front. Pluto's a longer term transit. So it's like, you still got like 17 years of this shit. So it's like, you know, I would just look at this as like your long-term creations that you could build a day-to-day routine over, like with, where you don't have to burn your energy out. Self-care is a paramount thing for you, so that you can kind of like demonstrate to people like a way to live that feels like more like role model based, because it's kind of weird, because it is like the thing that you want to kind of like put out there as the person you're being seen as is almost like a lot of what's going on in your personal life, probably connected to your relationships. Like, how are you navigating the post Pluto in your sign challenges is a lot of it. How are you rebuilding your psyche, yourself, your foundation? Like, it's okay to like share those things, you know, and if anyone like doesn't understand or doesn't get it, that, well, fuck them. Like, that's okay. Like that wasn't going to be a harmonious relationship anyway with that Mars in the 10th. You want to be more speaking to people, that want to build that bridge and that way of understanding. And so there's definitely a leadership role modeling by personal example piece, personal life piece. Now, that makes it difficult if you're a Capricorn that's like in a traditional, like 9 to 5 situation, or, you got to work all these long hours and stuff. That's probably been an overwhelming territory for you. So I would be evaluating the circumstances and like, where does your soul actually want to put its attention towards, and to look to that. And it could be a lot to think about and a lot to take in. It's a boundless universe, but this is a really good starter pack month for where things are headed into the spring of next year, for choosing a trajectory that feels more you, that you feel like it's sustainable, it's growth oriented. You can build some excitement and unpredictability around it, of like, you don't have to do this exact same shit over and over and over again, like in terms of the approach that gets boring day after day. It's a lot about like communicating about your evolution and how it's making you better, or more confident, or feeling better about your worth. Capricorns like need to kind of like rise up again in that way and see that like there's a newer calling of like what achievement like looks like. And it's not just like building the brick and mortar, and if you build it they will come. It's a little bit more like they'll come because you're actually like talking about something new, unique, and exciting going on, and that's like more real in that way, Capricorn. And in the traditional sense, I think it's just, it doesn't matter how small it is. It could just be in your family. It could be in your relationships. Like even just like community support and vulnerability in like those circles is an aspect of role modeling. Not just like choking it down, like to keep the peace, or because it doesn't like look strong or feel strong or whatever to your loved ones or the people around you. Like let the mess out. Like, I don't know why, but it reminds me of like, get all the old pizza boxes like out. There's no nourishment to it. It's just like, it doesn't stink, but it's like, it's clutter. Like, get the clutter out. Like, talk about it, vent it, verbally, emotionally. At least like talk to the therapist, like something. So if you want to go deep into that, Capricorn, I would say this is definitely like looking at a really long-term vision for you. I'd say like 20-year cycles, honestly. Like, you're playing a long game, Capricorn. You always do, right? Very legacy oriented, but this can feel like the longest yard of it all, because it could feel like you're so far away from the actual achievement of it. But the authentic piece is to just like honor the exposure and the talking about like where you're at on that journey, and like not having like criticisms and judgments of belief and stories that you should be here, or this thing, or this purpose, or whatever the fuck it is. So I would probably offer that empathetic support in that way, Capricorn, where you can go in your long term, and like how to just sometimes even just like get through the next month. It's, you got a lot of fourth house transits, meaning it's your personal life, your emotional world. So moving on to Aquarius. Well, Aquarius, this is Mars going into Libra. This is your 9th house. So hallelujah. This is an opportunity to expand. You're going to be expanding in your relationships, finding relationships to go on the adventure with. It's a good story to tell, or at least like finding relationships, but I'd say it could even be the ones that you're in. Hint, hint, like go in the places that call to you in terms of You know, like let's go have fun. It's like, you know, it's mostly Leo season this month, and we got to keep the vibe up. Now this kite is forming a lot around like your beliefs, which that's why it's like go have good new experiences to inform what's possible, because you don't want to like get too hung up on the mirror work of who you are and how you're transforming. Like we know Pluto's in your sign, and it's hard and it sucks, but it's not going away anytime soon. So it's almost like find the fun longevity approach of like you'll live longer and you'll live to tell the tale of Pluto going through your sign by finding the excitement and just like what you can, even if that means like finding a lot through a little, like the resourcefulness of just like seeing like, oh, actually there is a lot of abundance here in this situation. I just have to like change my perspective on like what's happening or what's going on in my life with this situation or this work thing or career thing or this relationship thing or people at work relationships. You know, it's like it's looking at it through this opportunity to go, you know, like it's a long haul. I got a lot of work to do. Build your vision around like what are you doing for your day-to-day work life? Like, and it's okay if it's not your forever. At least like see how that system piece, that puzzle piece fits to the puzzle piece like down the line. You're gonna have to have some faith that there's some like gaps in the middle, but it's a good time to also start like looking at and identifying like what are the actual real life things that are going to get you to like where you really want to go, so it's not like feeling overwhelmed by just the day-to-day stuff and like I hope I'll get there, but like not actually seeing how it could become tangible. So a lot of your focus would be on that positive manifestations, positive beliefs, but then also like as a means to teach your mind to like look for real solutions, like actually look for the fact, the puzzle piece, the solution on like what you can do. So it's kind of like a good month to like train your mind in that way. Just, you know, I would guess that you've been moving through a lot of fear this past month and a half. Mars, South Node, 8th, Virgo, your sign. But start down to Pisces in a second. Like, remember, like, keep it basic, keep it stable. Spirit has your back. Like, remember that there are ways to, you know, like, even if you just got to pray for it sometimes, like, pray for the relief, like, for financial support or relationship support, or, like, to get out of fears, like, see that you're worthy of vibrating your energy higher, like having compassion for any woes, any like mental health challenges, like any like things that just like come up to, even if it's like you like accomplish the thing and it's like, whoa, like this is cool, I'm doing these things and this is awesome, but fuck, you know, like, or I don't know if I could keep this up, or I don't know if this is really fulfilling me, or is there something else out there? It's like, if you ever have that feeling, like what else is out there, that's just your soul calling you back home, Aquarius, to connect with your multidimensional self, to be, that's saying like, hey, be patient. Like, it's like Earth wasn't built in a day, you know, like type thinking. Like, you can't build all your projects and all the steps to get to where you really want to go for your long term, like, and have it all figured out all at once. Your brain would short circuit. That's too much knowledge. Like, you have to kind of like have at least the macro idea of like what it could be, and trust that like you'll find the stuff as you feel like it feels good to go into it and learn about it and research it and fact check it, but like not forcing it, because the first thing that will go is your health. Like, you'll feel stressed out, and the first indicators will be fear, using force to figure out how you're going to get there or get out of a pickle or a situation, instead of just like honoring, you know, where things are and the gratitude for it, and like then building out from the macro there. I'd say the biggest way I could support you if you need it, Aquarius, is going to be the mental mapping of things. Like, I want to call it NLP. I don't even do NLP, but I would be doing it through your astrology or maybe hypnosis, where it's like, hey, like here's the way to like kind of like think about your situations that you're in so that your mind like works for you and not against you. So that's really, I think a lot of the support comes in, and just the empathetic, you know, piece to like help make real change to actually go into those more positive spaces that you're wanting to exist and feel good in, as least as much as you can be with Pluto going through your sign. It can't be, you know, can't feel limiting. Ask me how I know. I'm a Capricorn. I had Pluto on my sign. Last but not least, Pisces. Your month of August, this kite. It's Mars going into your 8th house. Ooh. Investments, maybe sexy time. Maybe, maybe not. It's Libra. Depends what your fancy is. Which side of the seesaw do you want to be in? This could get really aggressive, you know, for something that you want or something that you want to manifest, and you're willing to, you know, rock the boat to like go get it. Just a reminder to like hold the line, to like stay stable, and like don't, you know, sabotage situations that might feel basic but are actually like keeping you, I guess you could say afloat, but also sturdy. You know, just don't sabotage or cut off, I'd say, lifelines to people in like group situations, and, you know, just things that you could be doing in the world for like more connection. Because a lot of this is about like maintain your foundation, and then be like super enchanted, Aladdin, Jasmine, Magic Carpet Ride energy for your astrology of like your vision of like, you know, whether it's like you're wanting a relationship that's romantic, or you're just wanting life to feel romantic in that way, that feels magical in that way. Be motivated by that. But I'd say it's more about how do you be in relationship with yourself to where you're your own magic, and that life, the universe, world feels like magic. And so the Aladdin analogy like kind of like comes up, because it's like, you know, he kind of just had his basics, but then he found some magic, and then he was able to like sail around the world on a magic carpet and do the fun shit, and, you know, got to experience what it was like to be like in a prince vibration. And so that's some of your magic, is like, you don't need to like leapfrog into it like becoming like real and tangible right now. You just need to like be okay with where you're at, and have a dream and have a vision that is motivating you. I think you just make sure that you're not ignoring, suppressing, afraid of like people or technology situations that they could support that. I think it's still a good time to remember like the basics of that, but like, well, sure, it's easy for fears to lock in and create imbalance if you have a place in life that you want to go, but then you're just got the biggest gap ever, where it's like, well, I'm just like stuck in gratitude, or stuck in like this, that, the other thing of just like, this is just what I have. I don't know how I'm going to get there. Some of this for you, it's like, as a Pisces that can see, sense, feel things very much out there, it's like, hey, remembering that you, we all have these planets that are going to retrograde, right? Like Saturn, Neptune come back into fucking Pisces, Uranus comes back into Taurus. So this isn't the end all be all. Like it hasn't been all spelled out yet. So I think if any sign, you're probably the sign that it's like, it's okay to like, what could feel like hesitation for things, of like making bolder moves, because your intuition's telling you like not yet, or, you know, go slower, trot slower, that sort of thing. Like, doesn't mean that like you're not a part of the crowd or something, that you need to like be motivated by what everyone else is doing, relationships, people, society, from a place of fear. Does it get you caught in like a stampede, and you become like fucking Mufasa and shit? You know, it's like you got tricked by your own mind. So it's like, rule number one, Pisces, is like, use your intuition. That it's like the gap between the basics of where you're at now and this big, beautiful vision that you can really feel and sense to honor like where you could go. It's like, don't abandon your comfort or what you have to like force to go there. Like trust the inner guidance system that's sort of like slowly like pulling you, like nudging you forward, not like, you know, tying a lasso around you and jerking you out of like your position that can actually be stable, even if it feels a little Aladdin-ish at times. So I think the best way I could support you if you need a Pisces is it's going to be to take your chart and highlight like what are the steps from where you're at now to like that thing that you want to go, and actually like give you some peace of mind and calm to like actually make that trajectory real. So appreciate you all. That's your sun rising signs for August. In terms of this edition, unless I change it up, which I might do. I'm a Capricorn, I got Uranus going through my 6th, so changing up approaches. Probably see you next month for this. It's a big month. It's the last full month before eclipse season. It's the last month of Saturn in Pisces, or excuse me, in Aries before it goes back into Pisces. You know, so it starts to break up this really rare configuration with this air and fire energy that's like there for like liberation of like moving forward. So pay attention to this stuff. I would not snooze on it. See you next time.